welcome to another thrilling episode of Prog Review. And today we're doing this one. What is this? I might hold it. Have I got it upside down? I don't even know which way round it is these days. Look at that. This is opening it up, so you can have a little look. It's the same on the inside. Is a Record Store Day issue from last year, Roxy Music, and they're remixes. And this is peculiar. I've got to look at the sticker because there was a sticker. So it says remixes by Idiot Boys. There's a funny spelling of that. Manpower, Left Side Wobble, and Johnson Somerset. I don't worry, I've not heard of any of those people, so that's because I'm old. But yeah, this is a peculiar thing. This was released on Record Store Day last year, but I didn't get it because it was expensive. But Amazon, it came up cheap on Amazon recently, so I swooped in. I did, purely out of curiosity, because I've been, again, remixes and redos of things are always a little bit problematic, aren't they? There are very few remixes that are better than the original. But I was curious, and there's reasons. There'd be reasons why I'm curious, because I don't know if you remember that big box set, the really expensive box set with very little content that Roxy Music released a few years back, for the first album, with a surround sound mix by Steven Wilson. These remixes were meant to be part of that. Now, again, the interesting thing about that box set is the stuff that was left off rather than the stuff was actually on it, because again, Steven Wilson had done some stereo mixes. I don't think they were featured on it, and there was another track which was released on a Record Store Day. Oh, it gets confusing. Another 10-inch Record Store Day Roxy Music issue that never made it on. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and now this stuff was left off. So that's the interesting thing about that box set, is the stuff that wasn't on it. So I thought, well, blimey, if it wasn't on it, it must be bad. It can't be good, can it? It can't be good. So I tentatively ordered this when it, like I said, dropped to the sum of £15, because I wasn't going to pay. I mean, I've seen this as up as high as like 30 odd quid, and I thought, no way, never. It's a double vinyl, yeah. But there's only, he said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 7 tracks on it, on a double vinyl. Now I thought, maybe it's pressed at 45 RPM for super high fidelity, but it isn't. They're 33 1/3. So I thought, well, boy, you could have probably fit this onto one LP. That's curious. That's a bit odd. But you think, okay, well, yeah, we'll run with it. So I gave it a listen. It's an odd one. Funny thing is, right, the very first track, I was like, oh no, this is exactly how I thought it was going to be, because the first track on it, which is gotta look, Ladytron. In fact, there are 5 Ladytrons, 1 2HB, and 1 Chance Meeting. So you don't get a great variety of material. It's mainly Ladytron. And the very first mix, which is the Idiot Boys mix, Bath version, it just sounded like the song put through a flange, and I was like, oh, flange effect, and slightly modulated and filtered, and I thought, oh, this isn't up to much. I thought, oh no, I've wasted me 15 quid on it. So I persevered, and as it went on, it became more interesting, because they pulled apart the tracks, and there were like fragments used here and there, and yeah, some bits were a little bit more irritating, but it did open up. You did hear like bits of this and bits of that, stuff you've not necessarily recognised before in the mix. So it became kind of curious. It was curious. I was like, oh, this is again, I'm kind of cut. Is it, is it successful or isn't it? I don't know. But then it started becoming hypnotic because there's so much repetition. It almost becomes minimalist as you hear the same stuff kind of fading in and out and over again. You know, it was yeah, and it's certainly a different way of hearing the album. But it's unsuccessful because the whole album hasn't been remixed. You've only got these certain tracks and there's a lot of repetition. So as an artistic endeavour, it fails. But it hints at a promise. This is the thing: there's a hint of a promise of something good happening. But it, you know, and again, it's double album. Why is it on? Is it so they can charge extra money? I don't know. Oh, that's me just being cynical. But yeah, it was really interesting to hear these tracks pulled apart and reconstructed, and you know. And the repetition of it, you know, like I said, I looked at it more from a more of a minimalism, you know, kind of aspect rather than a true remix album. It became something else, something more vague, in a good way. But like I say, due to the copious repetition, you know, I mean, like I said, Ladytron is all over it. It can get it is a little bit boring. And I think, again, if they'd have remixed the entire thing like this, you know, maybe an alternate mix album for that debut, it could have been something quite worthwhile. Whereas this, I don't know, again, it is and it isn't. It's one of those ones. It's one of those ones where, you know, it doesn't work, unfortunately. And maybe that's why it didn't get included, because they didn't have all the tracks and you've only got, you know, these part remixes. I don't know, it's curious, and it's curious that they've reissued it like this. Again, it's one for the diehards. I expect that no one's bought it, that's why I got it for cheap. Because everyone went, what? Why would we want this? And again, if they'd have, I don't know, double-headed it, if they'd have done like the stereo mix that Wilson had put out in on vinyl with this as the remixes as a bonus 12-inch disc, I think that would have been corking. I think that would have worked very, very well. But again, I don't think whoever put these packages together don't really have the foresight. I mean, the really interesting part of it, he says, dropping the thing. Don't worry, that was my knee hitting the. I didn't drop it. That's my knee hitting the drawer. I've got a drawer here. I'm always doing that. I'll do it again for effect. The really interesting part is the actual sleeve, which shows you the various shots that were rejected for the album sleeve. Unfortunately, not in colour, in black and white. Again, stupid, because it is such a colourful album sleeve, and if that had all been in colour, you know, tiny little versions, alternate versions of the sleeve. I mean, you see some of that in that box set. But I get that wrong, and you do wonder who puts these things together. You do wonder if they've got any idea, you know, at all. Maybe I'm just being mean. Could be that, couldn't it? I'm probably being mean. So ratings out of 5. I give this. Well, it'll have to be a Ladytron, won't it, to go with it? I'll give this. I'm gonna give this 2 Ladytrons out of 5. It hints at promise. It's one of those things that hints at promise, but its execution just betrays it. You know, it's just, yeah. And again, the prices of these things, if you can pick it up for a tenner or something like that, then it's well worth a punt. You never know, they might be heading on eBay second hand or something. But yeah, don't pay anything more than 15 quid for it. Because I don't think you don't get your money's worth. Again, it's like they're trying to rip our money out of us, isn't it? It's that rotten music biz. Anyway, my name's been Darren. Like I've been talking about. I don't know, what's it called? Is it called just the remixes? It's just called Remixes. Roxy Music Remixes. Roxy Music. See, that's kind of got a spot glossy thing there. You you won't pick that up on the camera, but that is all glossy, which is nice. But yeah, so I've been talking about this. Underwhelmed. Thank you for watching. My name's been Darren. Look, there's only one more thing left to say, and it's Prog on. I was going to try and do it in Brian Ferry, but you know, I can't do it when I'm laughing. It's hard to do, isn't it? Very tricky. Maybe in the live stream.